Hello, Internet. Welcome to my boudoir and my four-poster bed. I've been really ill, incredibly ill yesterday. It was so bizarre, just incredibly sick. And I was in a car and we were driving around for hours and hours. We went to the Isle of Wight. If you know that, the Isle of Wight is a teeny-weeny little bit of land opposite the very southerly centre part of the United Kingdom. A blink and you'll miss it. But, you know, it took us 5 hours to drive around it, and I was so ill. Absolutely ghastly day. And I've only just recovered now. So my fasting yesterday was really difficult to manage to get the food that I needed into that 8-hour period. I mean, it's crazy, but you actually have to be really disciplined and really regular during your 8-hour eating allowance, do you see? So it's almost impossible when you're out to every 2 hours eat some protein. Very, very difficult. So I'm going to have to think about, you know, if I do stuff like that, I'm going to have to be like a schoolgirl, you know, and take packed lunches with me wherever I go. And maybe a few core sort of things. I mean, health bars are the best one, aren't they? Not health bars, but high protein bars. Really good. And also nuts and raisins, bit of fibre, bit of carb, and loads of protein. But I can't do that again because it was absolutely crazy not being able to eat properly. And then I wasn't drinking either. So because I felt so sick in the car, and I completely dehydrated. I mean, I was so ill yesterday when I got in. So really, you have to manage a strict regime like I'm doing, like the one I'm doing, which is the 16 hours fasting and 8 hours not fasting. You have to be really prepared at all times. You have to think ahead. If you get caught out, you'll find you don't eat enough food, and then you're going to feel really ill, you're going to feel weak, etc., all these things. If you're not careful, you won't drink enough liquid. And when you're eating quite a lot of protein in that 8-hour period, you need your liquids, guys. And I mean, I lecture people all the time on my fitness show about having enough water. And then it's so easy to do, to just forget, especially if you're not feeling too well. And because I was wheezy with my stomach, you know, I didn't want to drink. So really a big learning curve yesterday on intermittent fasting. And I've got loads of other news. What have I done? I've just released another single, Gossamer and Steel. Really excited about that. And it's gone off to the distributors, but it always takes a little while. And I'll try and play it for you tonight if I get time. But I'm setting up my Tattoo TV studio, which is all about granny fitness and, like the podcasts, really, you know, talking about intermittent fasting as an option. You don't have to do it. It's just a really good option for anyone who wants to shed a bit of weight, because let me tell you, I cannot eat more than about 1,200 or 1,300 calories in that 8-hour period. I just can't. I can't stomach it. It's the weirdest thing. Also, you don't have to do that 8 hours. If you find that you can last from 7 p.m. without food until bedtime, but you're waking up ravenous, that's fine. If you can do it for 12 hours, that's great. If you can do it for 13, even better. 14 is where the scientists have found, proven, they've looked at the way the body heals during this fasting time. And there is a lot of evidence supporting the fact that while you are healing from something, or while you are having chemotherapy or anything like that, the fasting helps it heal you quicker, better, more thoroughly, and more successfully. So that there is scientific evidence to prove that. There's really, really good knowledge there. Also, you know, I mean, all the other things, diabetes, it's proven to help get rid of food-related diabetes, so weight loss. It gives you more energy and it makes you sleep better. Now, yesterday, I haven't been to bed all night because I got home, I felt bloody grim. I'd eaten something, but not enough. I was utterly exhausted, and I really felt like I was malnourished, and of course I wasn't. I couldn't have been. I mean, I had a burger when I was out, but it was, it wasn't nearly enough because I didn't eat the roll, and it just wasn't enough. It's not enough calories, and I really did feel very low, and I couldn't sleep. I could not sleep. The physical impact of the savage starving and stressing about, what I was going to eat and how I was going to eat, and then being totally dehydrated and not having done any exercise because I'd been in a car all day. I mean, literally, I didn't walk anywhere. It was so cold on the Isle of Wight that when we got out, I also was dressed incorrectly. And this is really important, guys. If you've got arthritis, you cannot allow yourself to get cold, because that's when it plagues you, and it's so difficult to warm up. So I've only just warmed up, and this is 24 hours later, 24 hours since I left yesterday. Actually, it's more than that, it's 25 hours. So, I've got a lot of reparation to do today, but I've got on my bicycle and I went out and I went to Aldi and I got all my high protein stuff, and I've come back and I've stuffed myself with high protein things, so my yogurt and my whey powder and my nuts and my raisins and some popcorn as a treat. It's a bag of popcorn, 100 calories, absolutely nothing else in it that's any good. I do think it's got a bit of roughage in it though, so that I think so. I do think that. So yeah, I mean, you're going to, if you take on something like this, it's a massive responsibility to yourself. And it's easy to get really obsessed, but it's also easy to get really upset if you get it wrong. And I guess I'm just saying, you're going to get it wrong sometimes. Sometimes there are going to be things that get in the way of your regime. So when that's bad, it's when it's happening all the time. But if it just happens once and you sort of work around it, have a workaround. It's all about a learning curve, isn't it? It's all about learning how you can best operate under the limitations of your said intermittent fasting period, yeah? So anyway, other news. I've set up my OnlyFans, but I've just got to they want a photograph. When you set up OnlyFans, you have to provide a photograph to show that you're over 18, so you have to hold your driver's licence. And so I'm going to do that, but it'll all be up and running today, later on today or tomorrow. And I'm going to be featuring just loads of tattoo stuff, me tattooing myself, and loads and loads of beauty stuff and all of that. I mean, you probably know because I told you yesterday, but it's really exciting that I think I've kind of found my niche, and I'm okay with being on that platform because, I will make sure people understand that it's not a porn. I'm not a porn actress. I mean, I've got absolute respect for all of the girls on there, and boys. There's lots of, I should say men and women, shouldn't I, really? I've got total respect for them all, but it's not my bag. However, I'm going to, I'll feel confident about showing my body because I've got tattoos in quite intimate areas. So I didn't want any of that on YouTube, obviously. So that's really exciting. And I was talking with my mum, actually, and we were talking about, how to present oneself as somebody who doesn't mind a bit of, how should I say? I mean, I'm going to be doing Keep Fit in bikinis and stuff, because the thing is, I'm really proud that this fitness regime is starting to show on my physique. It's really showing. So I'm not about to cover that up. I want people to see that the diet works, that the supplements work, that the fitness that I do works. So, my rubber ball is my best friend now. I've been doing quite a lot of isometrics over the last few days, and I've had zero neck pain. I mean, I've had other things. Obviously, I've just told you, I'm bloody sick, but no neck pain. So I'm really feeling that these exercises are strengthening. So some of the stuff is going to be on my YouTube, shorts mostly, and anything that shows my body, which I deem as adult, like live tattooing, and keep fit with not many clothes on, I will be putting on my OnlyFans, okay? So that kind of tells you how it's going, yeah. I don't want any kids, looking at how to stick needles in themselves. I really don't. So that's the over 18s thing, all done. And finally, guys, today, I'm going to also start the graphic novel collection. So they're just single pages. And the storybook is called If. And If is about what would happen if I or you or any of us woke up one morning and we'd been placed by the powers that be in another place, in another instance. Do you see what I mean? An old idea, but a great idea. The old ones are always really good. So I want my music to be the backing track to these single pages, and they're going to be on my YouTube. If they're clean, but there is one which is a dominatrix one, and I'll probably put that on my OnlyFans. So yeah, it's just I'm feeling really creative and really excited, but I am trying to sort of breathe and calm down. Just calm down a bit, because yesterday was so traumatizing. So I think that's it. So stay close, please stay close. Get on my YouTube, subscribe to my YouTube. It's all free there. And if you want more tattooing stuff and to watch me live tattooing, because I've got a lot of skin to tattoo, so I'm going to do, from the very small to the very large, or live. I mean, I won't sit there, because a handprint tattoo takes about 5 hours, so I'm not going to sit there taping for 5 hours. It showed my age, didn't it? Taping, recording for 5 hours, but I'll stop and do a bit and then start again, and then I'll put it all together. And I'll try and do it really close up so you can actually see what I'm doing, because it's a teaching platform as well. I'm quite happy to be for people to see how it's done. It's really interesting. And then, of course, all my facelift stuff as well. So I'll be doing loads of that. So, I'm just glad to be home in the warm, finally. I've got my Romeo here next to me, bless him. His ears perked up when I said his name. I didn't think he knew it, because he's not the cleverest cat on the balcony, I must say. And one thing I did do yesterday, actually, with all this sickness, I realised that probably it was because my bra was too tight. So definitely launching the bra. I'm just waiting to get my channel up and running, and then I'll be modelling the bra and taking orders for, I don't necessarily want to go to a factory and get them produced, you see, because at the moment, they're made out of non-allergic fabric. So that's quite a big thing to be able to say, There's no nylon, there's no elastic, all of that stuff. So it's kind of doubling up as not just a reflux bra, which gives you support, so it looks really nice under clothes. But it's also a really healthy bra if you've got eczema, if you've got any skin conditions, psoriasis, any of these that are going to be aggravated by any sort of rubbing or squishing or sweat. Let's say the word sweat. It's not a nice word, is it? It's a horrible word. But nylon makes you sweat, guys. And we're coming into summer. So, I'm going to try and launch the bra before summer. It's difficult to do all these things. A massive, massive juggling. But, it's exciting, isn't it? It's really exciting. And I'm not, I don't have huge expectations, because the world is in a sorry state at the moment. So I have very slow expectations, and that's made me feel much calmer today. And I think if you sort of just sit there and think, well, look, I'm going to do something I really love, and if nothing ever comes of it, I would have really enjoyed doing it. So tattooing, that's what's all about for me, tattooing at the moment, and art, of course. And my art never sells, and nobody ever buys my work. Ever, ever, ever. I mean, when I used to paint cats and dogs, they did. But I'd be lucky to get a tenner for a portrait, and it would take hours, So really, it's not an advisable game, art. It really isn't, unless you're, you've managed to make a name for yourself because, you came out of college and somebody, or I don't know how people get into the art market or the art, I don't know how they do it because it wasn't my bag. I was always a street urchin, in the 70s and 80s when I should have really been at art school, graduating, hobnobbing, doing a master's in fine art. Do you know what I mean? I should have done that, but I wasn't. I was way, way more having fun, way more fun, in London at 100 Club and, hanging around with the punks for years. I mean, I did that for about 15 years. It was wonderful. Totes wonderful. But, I've grown up now. I grew up last year, finally. Okay, so that's the podcast for today. Much love. I'm going off to upload a whole bunch of my really, really nice sing tones to my Pond 5 because suddenly I've got a check from Pond 5, which is like the first one, and it's quite a big one. So I'm finally making royalties on my music. I just love that. That's making me... It's so little, but it makes me feel like I've achieved something, And actually it wasn't so little on Pond 5, but it's so little on Apple and places like that. It's pennies there. But on Pond 5, for all my my other music, sort of, I guess, film score type music and ringtones and the sing tones, the sing tones are selling. So that feels really good because I can't even sing, guys. I can't even sing. So, my AI is a wonderful, wonderful person. Weird, aren't I?